The people in my group, as a cross country team, I mean, obviously you're a college student and a lot of people are going to be having sex. There's not the same attitude towards, especially towards drugs and not really towards alcohol, but there's not really a sense of judgment to that extent. I think the attitude is more so to each their own, as long as you know your own limits and you know what's safe, essentially. Our group is a group that doesn't, I mean, obviously, like, it's something wrong and it's something that, like, well, I don't know, I know at least for us, whenever we see something happening, we always try to intervene and always try to do whatever we see is the best, which is often, which not often, is always the best thing is to report it. And often our way of like intervening will be through, I've noticed a lot of us, it's not really a direct intervention, is more so just in like social scenarios, trying to almost like help somebody out by just kind of like sliding in and just being almost like a distraction in a way, if that makes sense. I think with our team and the culture that we kind of have set up and the way that we've been in my past 4 years here, it's something where it's like if we see, like, whether it's my teammate who's, those are my best friends, if they're doing something that like I would say is obviously wrong, it's something where you have to step up to them and be like, hey, like, dude, you gotta stop, like, you're being a weirdo, like, you can't be acting like that. And I think that's something that we try to hold each other accountable to. I don't think it's something it's not like a consistent issue, obviously, but it's definitely something that it definitely needs to be necessary in the way that there's just like a general culture in many college campuses where there really isn't any accountability. And I feel like that goes for keeping each other in check, but especially more so, or not even more so, but just, well, more so just a lot of like male college students in general just need to be kept in check in the way they behave, especially with their attitude towards sex and women, especially when drugs and alcohol are involved and kind of alter the way people think. But yeah. I think a lot of it is obviously raising awareness. And I think a lot of it is not being afraid to sort of intervene or kind of like say something when something goes wrong. I think also one of the biggest things is having to report certain issues that are seen, because I feel like a lot of people do get away with being like, oh, that girl was fine, don't report it. Or it's like a lot of girls I know are like, don't report things that happen to them. They'll tell me things that happen to them and I'm like, you should tell somebody, like, you should not let that slide, like, it's a terrible thing. And then obviously, like, I'm not going to like do something that steps across somebody's boundaries, but I do think it's best to encourage many young women especially to step up and report, just because that in itself helps raise awareness of many of the problems that occur on college campuses just across the country.